Breaking news now on Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
We're still following some breaking news. A portion of I-84 East is shut down for an investigation into a deadly shooting and crash. Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Sarah Sanchez.
And I'm Brent Harden. Now, police say 3 people in total were shot in an incident that started on Newfield Avenue in Hartford this afternoon. Fox 61's Gabby Molina joins us live from that scene now to explain what happened. Gabby.
Well, Brent and Sarah, this all started just before 2 o'clock this afternoon, but as you can see behind me, police are still on scene here on Newfield Avenue. Now, this is where police say they first received a report of shots fired. When they arrived here on the scene, they found one victim suffering from non-life-threatening injuries after being shot. They say that victim was in his 20s and was taken to the hospital. From there, police say that 2 cars fled the scene and got on I-84 about less than a mile away from here. That's where the 2 cars began shooting at each other on the highway. Police say that eventually one of the cars crashed as well as another car that wasn't involved in this incident. State police then responded to I-84 in the Hartford area. When they arrived, they confirmed that there was shots fired and found 2 victims unresponsive in one of the vehicles. Police say that one of the victims inside one of those cars died from their injuries. The second person, who was also shot, was taken to the hospital. All of this causing huge delays and backups on I-84. Both Hartford police and state police are now jointly investigating this and say that it has been a very difficult and violent week here in Hartford.
Our troopers and detectives are doing the best they can to process the scene as quickly as possible. But as you're aware, it's a very fluid investigation. So give us some time. Expect some delays as you are traveling tonight.
These are situations that at one time would have been a fist fight or an argument. Now it's going right to gunfire. That's something that's very hard to trace. We've had domestic homicides this year. That's very hard to predict. It's strenuous, to say the least.
Now, again, I-84 East in Hartford is closed, at least a portion of it. Police say that traffic is being diverted off of exit 46 and cars are being brought back on exit 48. So you should expect heavy delays in the area if you plan on driving through there right now. For now, live in Hartford, Gabby Molina, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right. Thank you, Gabby, for the update. Serial shooters are on the loose, and now federal and state agencies are joining Hartford in what's being called an all-hands-on-deck effort to bring them to justice. Fox 61's Matt Karen has been closely covering this story today. Joins us live from Hartford Police Headquarters with the very latest on this case. Matt.
Well, right now, here's what we can tell you. Hartford police are working around the clock, and they're not doing it alone. They're working in conjunction with the FBI, the ATF, U.S. Marshals, and the Connecticut State Police to apprehend at least 4 suspects who are connected to at least 4 shootings.
We need everybody's help on this. We have to stop these individuals as soon as possible.
A plea to the community as police scour the capital city to find these 4 men. Last seen in all black clothing and all white sneakers. Suspects in at least 4 shootings over the last 3 days.
Nobody's safe out in these streets. There's nobody safe.
Heavily armed, from rifles to handguns, firing hundreds of bullets.
Indicating that they likely have both extended magazines and probably a Glock switch, turning those semi-automatic weapons into an automatic weapon.
Their victims believed to be targeted, but the motive still unclear. Anti-violence advocates say fear has gripped the streets.
What is it that triggering these type of episodes where people want to kill people every day? You know, and the way they are killing people is vicious, it's horrific.
While leaders of Hartford's youth engagement programs say the community is at a crossroads.
It's senseless. It's our community is at a point where it's an outcry for help.
The most recent attack under the cover of darkness Friday morning, Park and Hazel Street. Jonathan Roseborough and Jose Valdez gunned down outside of a grocery store following a hail of 101 bullets. The suspects fleeing to Windsor, where their vehicle was found burned. Police asking you to keep an eye out for another vehicle connected to those suspects, this silver Audi.
There is some consistency here with multiple shooters and multiple rounds. It's very concerning, obviously. This is a division-wide effort.
This is an all-hands-on-deck effort for our police department and for all of our partners at the federal and state level.
And in that news conference that just wrapped up here outside of Hartford Police Headquarters a few minutes ago, Lieutenant Boisvord said that those 101 shell casings is the most that he's ever seen at a scene before. I asked him, as a law enforcement agency, are you equipped typically to deal with that kind of rate of gunfire? And he said, absolutely not. Today's latest double homicide brings the number of people killed in the capital city to 7 over just the last 5 days, and 28 for the year total, on pace to be higher than last year. We're live here in Hartford. Matt Karen, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, all very chilling, Matt. Thank you. We are on the Weather Watch tonight. It was a nice day today, but guess what? Rain is on the way for tomorrow.
Yeah, meteorologist Sam Sampiri is here with a look at the forecast. Sam.
Well, guys, it looks like that tomorrow night's going to be the worst part of our next system. That's going to give us the heavy rain, gusty winds, vivid lightning, strong thunderstorms, and maybe even an isolated tornado. So I want everybody to be prepared. It's basically tomorrow night, but we can't rule out the chance for a scattered shower tomorrow afternoon, say after 4 or 5 o'clock in western Connecticut. Meanwhile, look at this beautiful day today. Nice evening. Let's enjoy Friday evening if you're going out dining, especially outside. It's beautiful, comfy dew points out there. And yes, this is our next system. It's already has a history of throwing down some severe thunderstorms up in Minneapolis and the Great Lakes there. It's a warm front, cold front combination. Here's the warm front. And then you have the cold front behind it, and all that is going to be moving right over us tomorrow night into early Sunday. And this is something we're going to have to watch, even though it's at night. So overnight, we're going to have the temperatures drop off over the next few hours. Clear skies, temperatures dropping back to around 60. And tomorrow we start out nice, but the showers and thunderstorms start to move in later on towards the evening and especially overnight. Coming up, I will detail and time out those storms for tomorrow night into early Sunday, and also talk about the rest of the weekend and look ahead into next week. Will this pattern ever change? Details on your Fox 61 7-day forecast. Brent and Sarah?
That is the question, Sam. Thank you. All right, we have an update now on that West Hartford officer-involved shooting earlier this week.
The Connecticut Office of Inspector General releases body cam footage showing the moment an officer shot and killed 34-year-old Mike Alexander Garcia.
Fox 61's Emma Wolforst joins us in studio now with the latest. Emma?
Yeah, Brent, Sarah, the Inspector General releasing his preliminary status report today investigating this use of deadly force in West Hartford. And we do want to warn viewers, this footage is intense and maybe disturbing.
Please, officer! I'm gonna shoot you!
Body cam video released Friday shows the moment West Hartford Police Canine Officer Andrew Teeter fatally shot 34-year-old Mike Alexander Garcia. According to the Inspector General's preliminary status report, West Hartford Police were pursuing a stolen vehicle near the West Farms Mall Tuesday. The two suspects, Alexander Garcia and 47-year-old Lyle Salisbury, exited the vehicle. Alexander Garcia ran down New Britain Avenue toward Town Fair Tire.
I got him. Town Fair. Going behind Town Fair.
Town Fair Tire surveillance video shows Alexander Garcia getting into a Toyota RAV4 in one of the garage service bays. Moments later, Teeter and his canine got into the Toyota on the passenger side.
The officer reached inside the vehicle to grab his canine to effect arrest. At that time, the suspect put the vehicle in drive and drove off.
This video shows Alexander Garcia backing out of the garage with Teeter and his dog inside the car.
Oh, please no! Stop it! Stop it!
Hitting Teeter's vehicle.
He's coming out of there, just running into everything, running into tires, people moving out of the way, and then he barreled through the cars that were there and came out onto the avenue.
Police say as Alexander Garcia continued to drive, Teeter fired his weapon multiple times, hitting Alexander Garcia in the torso, the Toyota crashing into this utility pole across the street from Town Fair Tire.
They pulled the guy out of the car, but he was limp. He just fell right to the ground.
Alexander Garcia was taken to Hartford Hospital, where he later died. Teeter sustained a broken rib and multiple head lacerations. And West Hartford Mayor Sherry Cantor released a statement today saying any loss of life is tragic in such a difficult situation. She called these videos undeniably hard to watch. Now, the Office of Inspector General, Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection, and West Hartford Police Department are still investigating. Sarah, Brent.
All right, Emma, thank you. New tonight, a man faces charges after a fatal pedestrian crash in Stratford. Police arrested Daniel Camacho of Bridgeport for driving under the influence. Camacho allegedly hit a 25-year-old woman yesterday on Lordship Boulevard, and that woman died from her injuries. The investigation is ongoing, and police say more charges are expected.
A teen is recovering tonight after being stabbed in Bristol. Police say the 17-year-old was stabbed on School Street late last night. He was flown to the hospital and underwent surgery. Police say he's in critical condition. The victim's name has not been released, and there's no word on any arrests. Anyone with information on what happened should contact Bristol Police.
And tonight, an arrest after a man burglarized a home in the Farmington Valley. Police say it started in Avon on Sunday in the area of Far Hills Drive. They say officers located a broken rear sliding door at a home. Police in the surrounding areas were notified of what happened, and that's when Simsbury police located the suspect's car that the neighbors had described. And that's how police arrested Crispilo Lizardo Olmos Silva. He faced a judge today in Hartford, and his bond was set at $400,000. Police from several cities and towns are speaking out after a crime spree this week ended in 6 arrests. Fox 61's Keith McGilvery is at the Meriden Police Department with the timeline of what went down.
It is breaking news, folks. First, right here on Connecticut's news station, Meriden Police announcing a total of 6 arrests in connection to 48 hours of crime and chaos across Meriden and 5 other communities over the course of the last few days. One of those events happening in Hubbard Park in a police pursuit where suspects lit a car on fire before fleeing in 2 other vehicles. You're seeing video of that scene here. A second incident involving a head-on crash involving 2 Meriden police detectives and those 6 suspects, 2 of whom are adults. The first one, Robert Barbara. The second, Kyle Mitchell. Authorities speaking to the incidents here in Meriden today, pointing the finger to juvenile behavior.
As you could see, our communities are impacted and our citizens are being put at risk by the violent and reckless behaviors of these juveniles and violent offenders, violent adult offenders. Many of these offenders are repeat offenders that are continuously released back into the community because of lower bonds, with no consequences, and without being reformed.
Mr. Mayor, we talked inside there. Your gut reaction to seeing what's happened really here over the course of the last 48 hours?
As I've been in touch with the chief and command staff here at the PD, it's been extremely concerning to know the violence that's occurring not only in Meriden but other communities, and the harm that our residents and our officers have been put in by these criminals.
You lead this community. Does the governor need to act now?
The entire state legislature, I think, needs to act as soon as possible. The juvenile laws that are currently on the books and some of the amendments that were made over this past session are not enough. And so, yes, we need to do more, and we need to do more as quickly as possible.
Authorities tell us they recovered 2 firearms and a number of pieces of evidence in connection to these crimes that also included theft and armed robbery of an elderly woman who was out shopping. As far as those 2 adult suspects, Robert Barbara being held on $1 million bond, Kyle Mitchell being held on $500,000 bond, learned that officers were injured as a result of these incidents, but they were treated and released. In Meriden, I'm Keith McGilvery, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.